Hi folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to take a quick look at the board game Element. It's due out on March of 2017. I got an early copy. I was told that my copy here is representative of the final product, so that's just a quick note there. Some prototypes and early copies aren't, so I got to make that clear. 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and the average play time is 30 minutes. Rather dashing games. So, what is this game all about? Well, the object here is to completely surround your opponent to where they cannot move. And basically, in order to do that, you're going to be laying down different runes. Each player gets one of these characters, and it supports up to 4 characters. I'm showing you a 2-player game here. And in a 2-player setup, you've got 2 people that are like 1 space apart from each other here. In a 4-player game, they'd start in each of these 4 circles here. And then in a 3 to 4 player game, you'd be going after 1 person. Instead of like everyone ganging up on 1 person to eliminate them, like you're assigned to get someone, and then someone else is assigned to get someone, and play proceeds counterclockwise around the table. But I'm going to go ahead and show you a 2-player quick example or 2. Now, I'm not going to go over everything in the rulebook. Speaking of rulebook, here is the rulebook. It is about, let's see, 11 pages long or so, and it's a very good manual, I gotta say. There's 4 different elements in this game, as the name of the game implies. You're going to be putting these tokens down, and they're going to behave differently depending on how you put them down and what's around them. You can even replace them in like a rock, paper, scissors kind of fashion. Like if you take a look at the chart here, you can see that this little white one is wind, this black one is earth, this blue one is water, and this red one here is fire. And you can see the relationship. So you can put a blue one down to get rid of red, and you put red back in the bag. You can put a red on top of wind. You can put a white one or wind on top of earth. But you can't do that if earth is 2 stacked high. I'll get into all that in a little bit. But again, your basic goal of this game is to use the tokens that are in this bag. You take all the tokens. The game does come with baggies, by the way, which is awesome. But once you get them opened and in this bag, you really don't need it. This bag fits in the box really nicely. But on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to draw 4 of these tokens. I'm just going to draw them at random here. Alright, so I've got these 4 tokens for use on my turn. Let's just say I'm green. And you also get 1 movement on your turn. Now, instead of drawing 4, you can give up drawing tokens in order to move more spaces. So let's say I had only drawn 3 from the bag instead of 4. Well, now my character can move twice instead of once on my turn. And I can take these actions, like I can put these tokens down and move my character in any order that I want to. So I could, if I drew 3, for example, I can move once, play 2 of these, resolve their actions, move again, and then resolve the final one. I think you get the idea on that. So you can do a lot of that. And you can even just draw 1 from the bag, and the less you draw from the bag, the more movement points you get. And you can move in any direction, by the way. 1 space, diagonal, or orthogonal. That means just basically 1 space in any direction, sort of like a king in chess. So anyway, getting back to my example, let's say I just drawn 4 from the bag, I got 1 movement point. So what does each of these pieces do? Well, we'll start with fire. And I do want to show you, because the rulebook does an excellent job in showing you different examples of what they can do. Starting with fire, again, fire replaces water, or wind rather. So if you did have, say, this on the board somewhere, you could just take this here, replace it like so, and then this replaced one goes back into the bag. So that's one of the things that fire can do. Another thing it can do is it can spread. So for example, let's say, let me just show you on the board so it's easier. Let me just grab a bunch out of the bag here so I can show you more examples. Okay, so let's say that there is fire here, fire there. Okay, so according to this, alright, so let's say in example 1 here, you've got this white one which was just placed next to this one. You'll notice that a new one was placed at the end here. So just to follow that example, if I were to put, say, this red one down here, then that fire would end up spreading along the line, and then a new one would be added at the end of that, which is really neat. That's really nifty. If it happens to be in the middle, like let's say you've got a situation like this, and you put a red one down like so, it would expand on either side. So you'd put one here and put one here. So just long story short, red can spread around. That's red is, it's fire, it can spread around. You can see some of the examples in the rulebook. 1 being the original position, and then 2 being where the new pieces end up going. White is the place stone, and the yellow is the free fire stone. So like I'd shown you here in this example, this fire stone was placed here, and then as a result, one was put into this empty slot here and into this empty slot here. You get the idea. So fire spreads is what that comes down to. Next up, you've got water, and water is basically fluid movement. Let's take the reds off and show you a little bit about that. Let's say I've got one blue one there. Now, whenever you put a blue next to another blue, it can move. So, and it moves the number of spaces in that line. So in this case, it's 2. So if I were to put one here, I could move that river. It becomes a river and it moves in that direction. So I could do like 1, 2. So now I've moved it 2 spaces like that. And the rulebook gives you even better examples. Like in this case, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row, and you can see it moves starting from, it used to be in this original position here, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 pieces, 6 movement, and it can move, bend, and you get the idea. So if I were to illustrate on the board here, let's do, I guess we'll just do 4. And let's say I put one down like this, like so. Now I've got a river. So now I can move this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these would follow however I did that. I don't remember, but they'd follow in the appropriate space where you moved them. So something like that. It's fluid, it moves, and that's one way you can trap your opponent. So it's basically, again, acts like a river. Alright, the next element is, we've got earth here. Now earth is something that doesn't move, but you can actually stack earth on top of earth to make it a mountain range to prevent your opponent from moving. So for example, let's say that I've got earth here and earth here. Now, just one high, all they do is block you from moving onto that spot, just like any other element. So I could still go diagonal, stuff like that. But let's say that I had something like this. Now, in this case, I would not be able, this becomes a mountain range. I would not be able to move in between these 2 spots. Mountain ranges prevent your character from passing them. So just to show you a few examples from the rulebook, as you can see here in example B, this character can move diagonally through here because there's no stackage. However, in this bottom example, there is a stacked one here, so this character can no longer move diagonally through this mountain range because there's a stacked piece there. And again, the game goes on to show you some other examples and so on and so forth. In this case, you've got this one here acting as a mountain range for all of these that are surrounding the opponent. So that's one way you can win, by the way. This would result in a victory. So that's an example of what you can do with earth whenever you place that down. You've also got wind here, and wind allows you to jump. So let's say that you put a wind down next to your character, say here. Now you could take that action. It allows you to jump over that piece. And that counts as a free action, by the way, which is really nice. Jumping stones is a free action. It does not count as movement. So after you place that down, you could, take your 1 movement action. That's no problem. There's also some other things that you can do with wind. Let's say that you've got something like, let's say you're something like that, and you put a white one down here. And now you've got 2 air in a row, or 2 wind in a row. So you can jump the number of spaces, 1, 2. You can jump to the other side of that. On top of that, let's say that I did something like, let's say it was like this, and I put this down here. Now I can jump, I've got 1, you can stack wind as well. Now I can jump a total of 3. That's 1, 2, 3. So I could do 1, 2, 3. So I ended up over here, which is kind of nice. This acts as a double instead of just 1, which is kind of nice. So yeah, really cool stuff. And again, there's more examples in the rulebook here. You can see 1 is a jump, and here you just move the other side, and then here you can also like double jump, as shown here, sort of like in checkers. And you can either again in this example, move down here, then up here, then up here. Again, the rulebook is an excellent example source. I mean, the game is there's a little bit of a learning curve because there are 4 different elements and they all behave differently, but the rulebook does an excellent job in giving you examples on how they behave. In this case, you've got a double stacked one here, so it double jumps twice, and he can double jump over the fire. You cannot jump onto another element. In this case, you've got a double stack here and a single stack here, so he jumps not just to the other side, but 1 additional space on top of that. And that's just a quick look at the elements. So again, on your turn, what you're going to do, you're going to draw so many randomly from the bag, and that depends on how many spaces you want to move. Again, the less you draw, the more spaces that your character can move around. And the object is to try and completely surround your opponent. So eventually, you might end up with something like this. Let's just say that there's 2 there, 1 here. This counts as a mountain range. Let's say that I've got something like that. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I'm just off the top of my head trying to come up with some examples here. There's some fire. Oh, by the way, you cannot replace, once you have a mountain range like this, you cannot use the wind to replace that. Normally, wind would replace earth. However, it cannot replace the mountain range. So that's one way to keep earth on the board. So, I mean, I guess we could, let's say it's green's turn and he does something like this, and that counts as a river, so he's going to move, like, say, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now he can't move here, well, yeah, because of this, there's a mountain range here. Let's say that there was an additional water here, let's just, for example purposes, say there was an additional water there. So you've got sort of like a river like this blocking this character, and you've got, you know, fire on this side, and you've got, you know, a mountain range on this side. Now, there are some ways to get out of situations like this, but for the most part, you're trying to trap your opponent. You can even use your own piece. So even if there wasn't a water piece here, I could say, let's say if my character was here, I could use 1 movement point to move here and act as a let my pawn here work as a natural barrier to prevent this piece from moving out of here. Now, again, you can still get out of this by replacing, you can still get out of certain situations by replacing tokens. You can jump using, again, these wind tokens here. So there are ways to get out of sticky situations where, you know, you might lose hope. But for the most part, that is Element. It's a really cool strategy game. Again, it's got a bit of a learning curve to it because of the 4 elements and how they behave, but there's still enough strategy. It's a light strategy game, but there's still enough oomph to it to where you're going to be sitting there thinking, okay, I pulled 2 wind, an earth, and a fire from the bag. How am I going to use these based off of all of the pieces that are here on the board that's surrounding me? I'm in a sticky situation. Maybe I should only draw 2 from the bag so I can move twice instead of, you know, you get the idea. So you can move. You can opt to draw less from the bag and be less offensive in order to get better positioning for your pawn. You can stick with your original 4 pieces and only move 1 time and try and surround your opponent that way. So there's a lot of different ways to interact with the board, your opponent, and just in general the different elements on the board. And that's where the strategy is going to come into play, is trying to manipulate the board to work to your advantage. And that's going to take some time to do. And I'm no expert, but I do like the game Element. Again, this is coming in March of 2017. Keep an eye out for it. I think the pre-order price on the website was $35, somewhere to that effect. Now, as far as the pricing goes, I think that's a bit much, but I'm a penny pincher by nature. So, you know, take what I think about the price with a grain of salt. I think it could stand to lose a few bucks. But just to be a little bit more family friendly, you know, on the wallet. But other than that, I mean, it's a great strategy game and one that I would really recommend to families and to even competitive friends that enjoy some in-depth strategy games. So again, this was Element. Stay tuned for, you know, videos. Vinny Jr. and I may play this one on camera. So if you guys haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my official website, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.